the rest play another role somewhere else. But when we talk of presidency, Sam Ohwabunwa, Sam Ohwabunwa, Peter Obi, I think a cap fits them and they should be allowed, one of them should be allowed to wear it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Reverend.
I don't know whether you were here.
Yes, at some point you went off and then you came on again. So we're trying to piece it all together.
Well, all right.
We understand.
The network is not good. The network is fluctuating. Even your voice is on and off.
Oh no. Okay, so let's hear someone else and see if the network is stable on another path, because I really don't understand the network acting up on us tonight. Is really not friendly, but we can move on, right? And we hope that it improves as we continue. Okay, so some of our guests will be joining us. I heard Bumi, was that you that was saying something? What's the contribution? What candidate would you like to talk on? And looking at the scorecard of this candidate. You can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. None off now.
Can you hear us, please?
Can you hear us? I can't hear you.
Oh, the network is really not our friend tonight.
Yeah. No, off my phone.
Is it Bumi that you want to speak? That is.
Oh, Bumi left. The network today is really interesting.
I'm a Jianko.
Okay. Okay, Reverend, if your background is pretty noisy or you're having a conversation, you can kindly mute yourself. But if you want to say something, of course, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself, and then we'll give you the floor to speak. Thank you very much. Okay, people, if you're just joining, if you are thinking what's going on from our social media handles, this is Newsband, and we're discussing the scorecards of our presidential candidates for 2023. As we know, campaigns are in high gear with visitations to different forces, delegates, and all of that. Of course, seeking for 2023. So we're looking at the scorecards of this man, this awesome man that has stepped forward to say that they want to change the course of Nigeria. They want Nigeria to be better than it is currently and take Nigeria to greater heights economically and otherwise. So we'll be looking at the scorecards. What have they been doing? What have they done so far as leaders in previous positions? And of course, in current positions, as we have the likes of Governor Yahaya Bello, and we also have the like of Barrister Yesabuwa Mwike of River State. And of course, we have Honorable Amechi Rotimi, also Chibuike, also on the list. We also have the likes of Professor Yemi Osibanjo. Yemi is one particular aspirant for 2023 presidential seat that I would like us to look at, considering that he is currently the vice president of Nigeria. Looking at him, how far he's come with this administration, do we say he was successful? Do we have the say? Do we have the confidence that he will do better or will be greater if he ascends the throne as the president of Nigeria? Contributions will be welcome. Ralph, if you're here, please unmute yourself. Mr. Ruff, can you hear us, please? The floor is open. Mr. Ralph, Mr. Tony, pardon me, I wouldn't know if that is a Miss or Mrs. or Mr. Please, if I'm calling you Mr. when you're supposed to be a Mrs., I apologize. So the floor is open. You can have your say and of course make your contributions or submissions to the topic of discussion for tonight. I don't know if I'm still audible.
I was thinking I told you I have some guests, Chris Mustafa and Jones and Kunle. I thought you had some guests.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of them is here at the moment.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, you had a guest, then we can do a follow-up. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I was here to listen to them.
I've reached out to them and unfortunately, they are not responding at the moment.
Yeah, and you mentioned some candidates. You forgot there's a candidate for the Social Democratic Party, one of the youngest candidates that you want to change, and you are calling the old guys. You are not thinking about the youths.
Of
I'm
course,
surprised.
we have the youths also, but we're looking at them all. That's why I made the floor open for everyone to pick a candidate and talk about the candidates. I did mention names of governors, presidential aspirants, ranging from the current vice president to Nyesom Wike. And of course, I did mention Peter Obi initially. And the floor is open for everyone to contribute to the different candidates, to the discussion on the different candidates running for the seats.
Yeah. So that's what I was waiting for to hear. You mentioned the big parties. That's the ones we want to hear. You forgot that you want to change the system. You can't continue with the old stuff. So you have to focus your attention on the young ones and the smaller in quotes parties. If the big ones have failed us, why are we focusing on them? Why are we focusing on PDP? Why are we focusing on APC? Why don't you look at other parties and look at other people? Why don't you look at that? So that's what I was waiting to hear your guest speak. And then I can now say, no, look at this. Look at SDP. We have SDP. What have PRP? What have ADC? They have candidates too. Why don't we look at them?
Of course.
All the people you mentioned are all either PDP or APC. As far as I'm concerned, PDP and APC are the same. And they have failed. We said they have failed. You can see the evidence that they have failed. So why are we focusing on them? If somebody has failed you, why are you focusing on them? Why don't you look around? So that's what I'm waiting to hear. When you finish with your big parties and those have failed, then I'll bring in the ones that shouldn't fail. You have the alternatives.
You have the floor about the other parties and other candidates that you have seen and that we have not mentioned, please. You have the floor, sir. The candidates in the smaller parties that you did mention. We can't hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, you say what?
Okay, you did mention that there are other younger people. There are other younger.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak. I'm talking about. I mean, I say we have alternative party in Social Democratic Party.
Okay.
I'm thinking of Prince Adewale Adebayo. He's a renowned lawyer, and he has shown he's running for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nobody, we haven't said it. It's there on Twitter. It's there. It's been going around the country. And it's there. It's based in Abuja. But every focus is on APC and PDP. What about SDP, Social Democratic Party? He has hope again for 2023. Yeah, one of your guests is here, Jones. Maybe we should hear him out, and then we can contribute.
I
actually came in to listen in.
Welcome. Thank you so much for
I
joining.
just brought that one in. You have the former deputy governor of Central Bank in ADC. I haven't said anything about him. You have PRP with a female candidate in PRP. You haven't mentioned him. Where? The female candidates in PRP. You haven't mentioned her.
Okay, Mr. James, just before you came in, we're talking about the presidential plans in different parties, what they've done in previous offices. Of course, it could be that. Okay. Sorry, I had to mute you because of the noise coming from your background. Okay, so we're talking about the presidential aspirants and what they've done in the previous offices. And Mr. Rapp did call my attention to some other smaller parties that we did ignore. So the floor is open and welcome once again. Please pick a candidate to talk about, and of course, tell us what you feel, and if this candidate is worthy of the seats from previous offices or whatever it is. Please, you have the floor. I'll ask that you unmute now, and of course, introduce yourself and then make your contribution, or rather your submission. Are you there? Can you hear me? You're pretty noisy where you are.
Yeah, I think the noise is sorted out.
Okay, it's better now. We can hear you. We can't hear you.
You know?
Good evening to you and welcome. Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening.
Very good evening to you. And a warm welcome.
Hello, good evening.
A very good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening, Lydia.
We can hear you. Can you hear us? Is this from my end? Oh, he left. Okay. Unfortunately, the guest that showed up just dropped. I guess his network wasn't friendly at all. Okay, so Mr. Raff, please, you did mention a candidate from SDP. Please, what offices has he handled, and what are his achievements? What has he done so far that we should look out for him?
Like I said, he's a lawyer.
Mhm.
He runs a law firm. He's practiced law. He's an arbitrator. He's done a lot of arbitration work, won a lot of tribunal work, both in England, America, Australia, Canada. He practices law in USA, in New York State, Atlanta, Georgia, in California, and he practiced in Australia. He practiced law in Nigeria, represented a lot of clients. He owns a lot of company, and he owns a media house. So anybody interested to check the law reports and look for Barrister Adewole Adebayo and Co. House of Law, Abuja. He was 50-year-old in January. He owns Kaftan TV. He owns King Adebayo Film and Theater Arts TV, short form for Kaftan TV. And he has been on, he's visited most of the states, and he's one of the leading candidates in Social Democratic Party with the slogan, Hope Again 2023, Hope Again 2023. He's one of 4 candidates in Social Democratic Party. We have a professor, we have a woman, and we have a handicapped person running under the Social Democratic Party.
Okay, from your analysis of him, with him, we stand a better chance of making Nigeria great or having hope for Nigeria.
Yes, he has hope for Nigeria. He's running on the basis that justice is what you need. The problem we have is there's no justice in Nigeria. If there's justice, there will be no corruption. If there's justice, there will be security, because everybody will take care of himself. Everybody will do his job properly. If there's justice according to law, nobody will cheat. The lecturer will pay well. The university will be given their due. The workers will be paid as when due. The schools will be well furnished. There will be security on the roads. The soldiers will be well paid. If there's justice, the police will be well kitted. It's running on the basis of justice for all. If there's justice, the clerk, the civil servants will do their job. Justice is the basis of his government if we win. And he's calling on the youths to come out, that this is their time. If not now, when?
Now, you've mentioned Barrister Adewole
Adebayo. Prince,
Adebayo.
actually, it's a prince from Ondo State. He belongs to a ruling house in Ondo State. He's from Ondo town in Ondo State. He's a prince of one of the ruling house in Ondo State.
Now, being a prince and a lawyer, a barrister at law, do you think that the system would want to bring him in, being that he is clamoring for justice, being that he wants things to be done right? Do you think that the cabal that Nigerians always talk about would want him into the system as president?
It is not the system, now it is the people. He wants to be the people's president, not the system. The system has failed because there's no justice. He wants the people. He wants to be the president of the people. He wants the people to elect him, not the system. The system has been electing failures. That is the problem. The system has been recycling the same people. And that's why we are not progressing. The Social Democratic Party wants to run on justice. I want people. wants to be the people's president. Let the people vote their conscience. Give the people the rights. If the people vote, then you have justice, not the system. That is the problem we're having, not the system. Let the youths, let the people do the voting, not the system.
Of course, the vote is supposed to come from the people. Now, how will he drive home his campaign to the grassroots, to the masses, even in the local places, in the cities and every other place? For him
I'm sorry, Uncle. This is not a place for me to tell you our statistics, our strategy or tactic, or how we are going to win the vote. Now we are in the primary. We are the primary. You are asking for what are his takes. I'm just telling you, he's campaigning on the basis of justice, and he wants to be the people's president, not the system president. How we are going to do it? You wait until we get our ticket after the convention. If we win and become the candidate of the SDP, then you will see. When we start our campaign, you will see by yourself. You can call me back, and then you'll see how we'll win the people, how we'll get the youth that this is your time. For too long, we have relied on the system. We want the people to know, this is your chance, this is your time. Take it up. Take your chance.
You know, over time, it's been known that politicians throw money around to buy the votes of the people and to get people to support them. How will this transcend, you know, when he goes out there to meet the people and he says justice to the people? Will this resonate with everyone?
That is the problem. You see, people think about money. That is wrong. Half of the money you talk about don't get to the people. What do you need the money for? That is the problem. Where are the polling units? The polling units are with the people. And somebody there say, oh, I need money to give to the people. The polling units are within where the people live. 500 individuals within the polling units, which is within the ward, within walking distance. So what are you spending the money for? That is the system, taking money from people and saying it's money for election or money for people. Because people don't understand, and that is why we're talking about justice. If people know that without your money, if I vote right, I'll get amenities properly, I'll get everything. But every 4 years, they give them peanuts that, oh, don't worry, vote for me, I'll do right for you. They don't do no right. Now we want to explain to them, you get 5,000 today, you don't get nothing. Without 5,000, you believe in what my vision for you, then you get everything. Justice for you, not 5,000 for you. I don't have 5,000 to give you, but I have a vision for you, that you get justice in our government if we win, if you give us the votes, because this is going to be you participating in your government.
That's really a great one, because every Nigerian is clamoring for justice. Every
And
Nigerian
in all enterprises, in all he has done, there has been no failure. There hasn't been any failure. There has been success and success following justice. We've done lots of cases, like I said, go into law reports in Nigeria, top cases by politicians, go into arbitration in the UK, in New York, in Australia, in India. Prince Adewale Adebayo, he has been success and success.
Wow.
So it is not the system. It is justice and the people.
I really like the sound of that. It is justice and the people, because there are a lot of quarters, a lot of people who are really looking out for justice. People are saying, we need hope. We need to know that when we go to the court, we will get justice. When we go out there to make complaints, we will get justice.
Okay, now, you see, you are shifting to the court. Before you get to the court, justice is not just in the courts. Mm-hmm. I just give you example of civil servants. If there's justice in the civil service, the clerk who is looking to get your file will not ask you to give him coke money. If there's justice in the civil servant, the director will do his work as when due. He will do it properly. If there's justice in the government, in the Ministry of Education, ASU will not be on strike. So don't think of justice only in the court system. No, in the government. If there's justice in the government, governors will not be going about with 10 cars. He will not be afraid of his people. If there's justice, policemen will not be buying their uniforms. They will be given adequate equipment to perform their functions. So when we're talking of justice, we're not taking it to the courtroom. We're saying if every individual in the system do their work according to the rule, that is justice. That is what we are talking about. The gentleman in the Ministry of Works who is given the contract to do, if he does justice, he will not undercut the contractor, will not overbill him. He will make sure the contractor does a good job. And the building the roads, the same thing. If there's justice in the Ministry of Work, the supervising engineer will make sure that the contractor building the road does it properly. That is justice we're talking about. Justice according to law. Everywhere you are, you do the right thing. That is what I'm saying. Doing the right thing wherever you are is justice. Not just a courtroom. When you have judge with the law, now there's a person trained to arbitrate between you and your opponent or between you and government. Those are when you have infraction. That is different. But doing the right thing wherever you are. And he's ready to take responsibility if the police in the village misbehave. He's the one who has misbehaved. And you make sure that that police is dealt with. That is justice. That is taking responsibility as the executive. Everything stopped on his desk. No buck passing. That is what he's bringing to the table. That is what he's selling to the Nigerians, to the youth, and to our elders, that it is time for them to give room for the youths
to come in. Now that's a good offer he's got on the table, justice.
To help us sell it out, help us sell it, tell it as it is.
Okay. However, there is this belief. We had to engage a few people in conversations, and we're discussing how far Nigeria has gone with a lot of things going wrong, a lot of things going the other way, and there's this belief that Nigeria cannot be restored, and people are saying, no, the corruption has gone too far. Now, look at it, that he is clamoring for justice. He is selling justice to the people, surrounded by a whole lot of people who have gotten deep, sunk deep into the corruption and injustice. How will this make a difference to these people who are used? It's like a regular, it's like a norm for people to do things, just like you mentioned. The clerk in the office who's supposed to move files is saying, give me coke, or if you don't even drop anything, your file is there on the table. It's just going to be there for as long as. Oh, MP3, M7 says he can't hear me. Please, am I audible? Mr. Rolf, can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't get the point you are making.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. I didn't get you.
It's believed that corruption has gone too far, and people are so deep in it that they are not coming out. Now I'm asking, just him and his team coming to sell justice to the people. Will the existing different quarters, different offices that already have been corrupt or are used to this norm, will they not drown him? Will they not sink this idea with what they are used to?
Yeah. If you want to change the system, you have to bring a new thing. When you bring the new thing, the system automatically changes. When you talk about corruption, you are talking about abuse of office. I just gave you an example. That's, people call it corruption. It's abuse of office.
Of course.
Because if the director does his job, there's a quantity survey that says I did appraisal of what it's going to cost to do the job. All right. Now, if he wants to abuse his office, instead of 10,000, he says it's 15,000. You call it corruption, that's abuse of office. And then the job that is supposed to cost 10,000, he says it's 15,000. Now it's billed for 15,000. But actually, the supervising engineer or the site engineer will not, the contractor knows that this job is going to cost 10,000. He compromised with the director, and they know that 5,000 is going to the director. The supervising engineer knows that, the site engineer knows that the director has taken 5,000 from the contractor. And then the contractor says, okay, oh boy, you know, you two have to say something. So he looked the other side, the contractor does a poor job. And the job that is supposed to be 10,000, that was paid 15,000, the contractor does a job of 5,000. And then you see what has happened. 10,000 has gone. That is abuse of office. We call it corruption. So if everybody does what is right, this thing will fade away. And who's responsible for that? If you have somebody who supervises, who takes the look, who supervises, not I had. Oh, what happened? No, he supervised. He delegates. Trusted individual. With his first 5,000 appointment, he makes people who link up in link with him, who believes in his vision of doing the right thing. And then you said the economy is bad. How many Nigerians pay tax? How many of them pay taxes? You see people building houses. You see people riding cars. You see people going to parties and donating money. Where are the tax men? If the tax people do their work properly, you have enough money to build companies, to get people engaged. That is the issue. I guess I've had enough for you now.
Of course you have. You know, I was just wondering how far we've gone. In some places that I have visited, you know, recently there is this introduction of metering for power supply, yeah? But in some locations, the meter has just refused to circulate to everybody for whatever reasons. And also, when the guys in charge of this power come to the end, they disconnect the users. For reason being that they are not paying their bills as at when due, and they get disconnected. These people, when they get disconnected, tip the guy who's coming from the power office and says, please reconnect me and I'll sort the bill eventually. Well, they never do. And then the other guy who's coming from power office, whatever happens to the phone, nobody knows. Now, using this as an instance, will he be able to move the entire people? It's like reshuffling the entire system, reshuffling everything and bringing in entirely new people, or he'll just bring in supervisors who will supervise the existing staff.
No, you see, what I'm trying to tell you, when you have a new sheriff in town, everybody looks at the new sheriff. That's just, it's living by example, ruling by example. What do you see in the villa? What do you see in the villa? Is the man in the villa corrupt? Is the man in the villa not doing justice? Is the man in the villa not doing his work as it went due? Is the man in the villa not coming up on time? Is the man in the villa favoring his people? Or is the man in the villa filling in there with people who are not doing their job? They take a cue from the man in the villa. Like I said, his first 5,000 appointment is doing the right thing. If the man in the villa is doing justice, who are you, the minister, will not do justice? Who are you, the director? If the minister is doing the right thing, who are you as a minister not to do the right thing? That is what he's saying. Justice, doing the right thing where you are. If your boss comes to office at 8 o'clock, why will you come to office at 8:30? He's going to rule by example. That is what he's saying. And like I said, that is the people, because the people elected him, not the system. So it's for the people and the people can see how he's ruling, and they automatically they follow him. They take example, they take a cue from what he's doing, not what he's saying. Here, we say we'll give you money, but you don't see no money. He's not going to say it. He's going to do what he's saying. So that is how it's going to work.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay. So don't leave the old guard in APC and PDP. They are the same. Focus on Social Democratic Party. Remember the slogan, Hope Again 2023. Prince Adewale Adebayo is a candidate to beat.
Campaign party.
Remember, justice. Justice here is doing the right thing. Live not this time in the courtroom. Wherever you are, you do the right thing. And he's not going to be a candidate of the system. He's going to be a candidate of the people, not the system. The system has failed us, and we can't continue relying on the system. That's the point I'm trying to make. I wish you other people are here to bring out their own candidate. Then we can now put in one here and there and see which is better, to continue with the old guard or to get the new ones.
We didn't have all our guests on board, because I did make sure that we pick different people so that they can speak on who is their ideal candidate for
exactly
president.
that would have been better, not just me alone talking about my own candidate, because like I said, he has never known failure in all he has been doing. No failure.
Okay, so let me update Mr. Oriri Ocheje Richard on what's going on just before we call it a wrap for today. Mr. Oriri, you're welcome, and you just joined Newsband, and this is Lydia. Of course, today we're talking about scorecard of presidential candidates, those vying to be president. Of course, they've been leaders. Some of them have been leaders, and some are currently leading. And we're looking at whom they are, what they've done, or let's say their scorecard of what they've been doing and how they would make the difference when they become the president of Nigeria. If it is for whomever will become the president of Nigeria amongst them. So you have the floor. You can quickly make your contribution before we call it a wrap. Mr. Oriri, please unmute yourself and make your contribution or your submission. Mr. Oriri, are you there? Can you hear me? Am I still audible? All right, 4.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Please, Mr. Oriri, are you still there? I was saying that you have the floor to make your contributions before we call it a wrap. Okay. Let me believe that Mr. Oriri doesn't have a contribution or wouldn't want to say anything. And so I'll be saying thank you very much to everyone that's been here, especially Mr. Ralph, for your contribution, and of course bringing to our notice that SDP has a candidate that you dearly support, and you're sure he's going to make a difference with his justice plan for Nigeria. Thank you very much. For those of you online watching on Facebook, to Instagram, and of course YouTube, we appreciate you for your time. Until we come your way again, we will say stay safe. This is Lydia saying have a pleasant evening.